Some more practice with the Imparfait, starting to focus on the telling of stories. So remember that our main thing we're going to focus on is actually the usage of the Imparfait when compared to the Passé Composé. Because the conjugation of the Imparfait is somewhat simple compared to the conjugation of the Présent or the Passé Composé, where we had a whole bunch of different things that we had to remember, a bunch of different possibilities. We had to remember all of the different categories of verbs separately. The conjugation of the Imparfait is fairly straightforward. The hardest part is remembering what the present tense new form was to find what your stem is. Remember, when we're thinking about usage, we're going to use that play metaphor. So anytime that we're talking about the scenery or something that the narrator of the play would say, we're going to use the Imparfait. And whenever we're describing what the actors are doing or saying, we're going to use the Passé Composé. Remember, the Imparfait is primarily used for descriptions and background information. So this is largely the scenery as the descriptions, as well as the narrator giving us background information. So generalized, but not really necessary to the story kinds of information that's setting the scene background, that's going to be Imparfait. We're also going to use Imparfait for frequent habits. This tends to be a narrator type of thing as well, where the narrator is setting up that whatever particular action we are seeing is something that happens repeatedly. And this is also for background information and action that gets interrupted. So this is, as stated, considered to be background information. This is what was going on when something else happened to stop it. The Passé Composé is used for one-time events. It's used for the main action or storyline. And it's also used for those actions that do the interrupting, since that is likely going to be part of our main action or storyline. If you can narrow it down to just this happened, then this happened, then this happened, that's Passé Composé. So, questions 1 and 2. Would the following sentences be an Imparfait or Passé Composé? So if I wanted to tell you that my kitchen flooded yesterday, or if I wanted to say the movie theater was dark, would those be an Imparfait or Passé Composé? So depending on the tense used, the exact same sentence can mean different things. Okay, so if I take a simple sentence like, Je suis allé en France, I went to France. By using the Passé Composé, I'm telling you that I did in fact get there and that that's the main point of my story. I went to France. What did you do this summer? Oh, I went to France. If I rewrite that sentence to use the Imparfait, j'allais en France, I mean either I was going to France and it either got interrupted, something happened and I didn't actually get there, or I'm giving some kind of background information to tell you about the journey itself. Oh, I was going to France. Here's this cool thing that happened on the plane, or something like that. Or it could mean I used to go to France, so that I habitually went repeatedly over a large number of summers. I can use either translation for the Imparfait. The difficulty is figuring out which one I need based upon the context in which I'm using it. So, how would you translate these sentences into English? Again, the difference is just Imparfait versus Passé Composé. So if I say, Il prenait des photos, how is that different from Il a pris des photos? And then finally, translate the following sentence into French. So I'm telling you my story about France, and I say, in Paris, I visited the Eiffel Tower. So this is the main point of my story about going to France. So I went to France. In Paris, I visited the Eiffel Tower. When we're translating this sentence, we're going to use the verb visiter, and the Eiffel Tower in France is called La Tour Eiffel.